Rebekah Kennedy, pleasure to meet you.
Hi. Hi, Greg. Nice to meet you too. Thanks so much for having me.
So first off, Traumatica, very intense movie. After this, really excited to watch Two Witches as well. So going
Yeah.
into this, is there just this great residual kind of shorthand you have with the filmmaker? And what's that like? What's that momentum like going into this project?
Yeah, I knew going in that it was going to be a crazy ride, and I was definitely right. But I trust Pierre and Max, the producer, explicitly as a filmmaker. I know Pierre was going to take care of me. I know he's going to make me look good in not a pretty way, but in the best horrific way possible. I know he's going to give me the time that I need on set to prepare, to get into character, to find, to discover, he never makes me feel rushed. For whatever reason, it just always feels like a very calm, peaceful. If he's stressed out, I never know it. He never lets on. So I knew after working with Two Witches that I was in and I will always be in for whatever they do because it's weird to say fun because a lot of my scenes were not fun, but the experience was great.
Your character in Traumatica, without giving too much away, you really, as an actor, you just go there. If there was a wall, you broke it. How were you able to get there? Because you said it's a horrific situation, but it's also just really great acting on your part. Do you have to reach deep, or am I over imagining things? Because it seems like you really pushed yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I did. There were many things in the film I did that I have never done before. And I was excited to challenge myself because I'm trying to always find roles that challenge me in a way as a human and as an actor. And so when I start off, I look for things that I can relate to. So, because I can't relate to her situation, thankfully, but I can relate to her feeling like no one understands her, feeling very lost, feeling alone. I feel like a lot of us can relate to that at some point in our lives. So I start there with knowing where she is as a human, because of course she starts out as a villain, but no one sees themselves as a villain. And you learn, of course, without giving anything away, you learn through her story that she's not just everything that she appears to be. And that was really interesting to me, complexities and the layers that she had. And yeah, because of the set experience and the vibe they create, it just allows me to really go as deep and as dark as I can, and it never feels rushed. So he always encourages me to take my time and to be able to get there. And I try to do as much work as I can ahead of time. And then so when I show up on set, all that work is there. And it's just more about putting myself into the situation, allowing me to feel how I feel, allowing whatever is happening not to feel nervous or scared about it, and knowing that whatever anxieties I feel as an actor or as a person is exactly how she's feeling too. She's going through something horrific. So I just try not to suppress anything and just let everything that's happening come out and hopefully have the best performance I can.
Traumatica can be enjoyed as a surface entertainment, horror entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can enjoy the film on that level, but
Right.
can you also speak to the fact that it's called Traumatica?
Yeah.
It's about generational trauma as well, without putting too much of a fine point to it, but it actually explores that theme. Is that another reason why this project, while being you can enjoy it on a shallow level, you can also appreciate it, like you said, regarding on a deeper level as well?
Right. I love that so many horror films are able to explore topics that you maybe wouldn't be able to explore in any other genre in a specific way. And it brings people to the theater that maybe wouldn't ordinarily want to watch a film about trauma. So and I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because I get it as an audience. It's a lot. It's triggering. Do I want to face this today? And so horror films allow for, like you said, you can enjoy it on the top, or you can look at the deeper meaning of what's actually happening and as happened to people. What Abigail is going through, the possession aside, but as far as what happens with her dad, as far as what happens with her pregnancy, as far as what happens beyond that, it's horrific. And I know there are people that have gone through things with their family in that way. And I wanted to be respectful and tell that in the best story that we could as well. And knowing that there are people watching that might be triggering for them or that might relate to that and be able to see it in that way as well and not just a fun romp on top.
Rebecca, it's hard to make friends in general, whether it's in the business or whatever business you're in. As we all get older, as I think our world kind of constricts and it's hard to make these collaborative or just real friends. What's it like for you as an actress and a producer? I'm excited to watch Crust. We're talking about trauma
Yeah.
on Traumatica, but Crust, it also deals with mental health and working with someone who also is a fellow producing colleague like Sean, that must mean a lot to you personally to have a friend, but also have a collaborator when you guys can actually produce your own project, and especially
Yeah.
something as personal as this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a small business, but it's lonely too. It can be. You can feel very, especially as an actor, feel very alone in this. You can have your team of people, you can have your support system, but you're still kind of by yourself. And so to have somebody else to call, to discuss, to okay, how are we going to make this happen? You're not alone. You don't have to face it alone. You have someone else to bounce ideas off of. And if something doesn't work, you go, okay, we're going to try this. And you're not doing it just by yourself because it can be so daunting, especially making your own projects or just being an actor in general. So having Sean as a collaborator and as a friend has been a dream because then I don't have to navigate everything alone. And especially new, scary territory, I have someone by my side that's doing it with me.
Rebecca, so as an outsider, I can just go on your IMDb and just scroll and look at all your credits. What I can't do is I can't figure out maybe is there a piece of advice or an insight that you received from one of these projects that might have helped you or continues to help you along the way as an actor? And do you remember that moment? And if you could
Yeah,
share that.
absolutely. I did an episode of Criminal Minds quite a few years ago now, and it was my first guest star on a show. So it was my first bigger role in a TV show. And I was very nervous going in because I had only done one other TV show and I had like very small part in that show. So I was like, did they hire the right person? What am I doing? Am I here? Should I be here? Very imposter syndrome for sure. And I remember the first day. For anyone that hasn't seen the episode, it's loosely based on the three women that were kidnapped in Cleveland and left locked in a basement for 10 years. So I played this woman that had been kidnapped and had been in a basement for 10 years and had finally was going to escape because one of the girls was sick and dying. And if I didn't get help, like she was going to die. And so the first day was a lot of me escaping through the window. So it was like me climbing up and down and doing just a lot of physical activity. And I had done all my work. I'd worked with my coach and I was like doing my actor thing. And then the director, pulled me aside and she said, "You don't have to work so hard. You've done it. You've done the work. Let it go. It's all here. Your eyes, you think it'll show your eyes. Just remember it's all in your eyes. You've done it. You don't have to work as hard." And I took that in and I was like, oh, and it just the kind of the relief I felt kind of just washed over me and I didn't have to put all the pressure on. And so I tried to take that with me when I feel like I am working too hard at something that I've done my work to trust, to let go that the work is going to show up and that it lives so much in here and I don't have to work as hard to show the audience that I can just trust that I've done it and it will show up.
After learning that, did you feel that your performances got better because you're
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think so for sure. Because as an actor, we're in our heads a lot. We're like, is it working? Is this we want to show that we've done all the homework. We've done all our homework and now we want you to see that we've done it. But nobody wants to watch an actor doing their homework. So it really kind of released me of the work. Like I've done the work. So now like why do all that if then I'm going to do it on set? This is the part that's fun. This is the part that you get to react to the other person and you get to let go and you get to try things and you get to play and explore. You can't do that if you're stuck in just like doing your work that you did. So definitely, absolutely.
so just a non sequitur. I just remember this years ago. I interviewed Steve Gutenberg. It was at a press conference, and he said a lot of people don't understand about actors is sometimes when you hear someone and say that actor, he or she is very demanding, what people don't understand is how much fight we need to have to get where we are, how many rejections upon rejections we have. So if we are demanding on a certain sense, it comes from just all of this time of we're in that fight mode and survival mode. I'm wondering if you can ever relate to that and what keeps you going, because I'm sure along your path, you've seen so many talented artists who may have said, I'm just going to give up because it's not worth the fight. But obviously, the fight is worth it for you. So, what makes it worth it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's many times where I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Should I just pack up and go home? Should I do something else? I think what keeps me going is the moments that work. In other words, people along the way that tell you should keep going, getting an audition, getting a call back, doing a film, going to a film festival, meeting people, all of those things tell me, hey, you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. It's easy to feel like you should give up. It's easy to feel like, why am I doing this? But I think for me, all those things kind of are signs, I guess, if you want to be cliche and a little silly. They're like signs telling me, no, Rebekah, you're doing this. Like even a gift on set in terms of like encouragement, some encouraging words from another actor or someone that you look up to that says, hey, you're in the right place. You should be doing this. It's, oh, okay, all right, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe I should keep at least giving it another go. And also what keeps me going is celebrating all the little wins, not just like bookings, because I feel like if you only celebrate when you book, you're not going to be celebrating very much. But if you celebrate the audition, the callback, the meeting the producer at a party, the film festival you went to, the email you sent that you were scared to send, all those things are little moments that lead up to the big moments. And that's what keeps me on my path and keeps me from like totally just spiraling and giving up and going home and just like things like this, like doing these interviews, knowing that I did this little movie and now people are going to get to see it is so rewarding.
Rebecca, you're a horror fan yourself, but do you have a theory or just an insight on why? Because I've just started to learn this maybe within the last 10 years of me being a cinephile. Why, and I'm casting a pretty big umbrella on this, but why so many horror fans are some of the most insightful cinephiles around? That's the thing that really surprised me about my own movie journey. But wondering how you feel about that and if you have insights on that.
I think it's because we're willing to explore things that maybe other genres can't. And I kind of touched on this earlier. If you saw a drama about trauma, there'd be some people that would go see it, but a lot of people wouldn't want to because they're like, oh, it's heavy. I don't want to watch that. And horror kind of gives a under the lens, but then opens it to a broader audience. And there's so many themes that are explored in horror that are important. And we can look at it in it's like Weapons or The Babadook, or there's so many great movies that Hereditary that have underlying themes as well as just the horror on top. And I feel like that's maybe why horror fans are so insightful as well, because there's so much going on underneath a film. It's not just um, on screen for the sake of being on screen. A lot of movies have little things you're looking for, little clues that, oh, that tie into this. Oh, this means this. And you're like forced to do all that. Whereas maybe a comedy or a drama maybe wouldn't have quite the same as that.
Rebecca, my final question to you, and again, thank you for your time, is a two-part question. Is first off, right off the top of your head, can you name one of your all-time favorite movies? And what is it about this movie that still resonates with you? That's the first part. But the second part, we're talking about cinephiles, someone might see Traumatica and say, well, Rebekah Kennedy, she's fantastic in this. I need to go look and watch her next movie or TV project. What's the next TV project or movie project that they should watch a project that you feel might be underrated in your resume?
Oh, that's already out. I mean, of course, Two Witches, you got to check that out because it's the same filmmakers, but also I did a film called The Veil that came out last October that is a really beautiful horror mystery that about two characters. I play an Amish woman that shows up at a ex-Catholic priest store looking for help. I won't tell you any more than that because I don't want to ruin this mystery of it. Like you mentioned, Crust is such a great little film as well. And yeah, I mean, I feel like there's several, it's hard to pick one, but so I picked many, but there's several films that people should check out, just not for me, but just for the filmmaking and the other acting and just the production, and the filmmakers work so hard and their work should be seen.
Yeah, and as far as your own personal favorite movies,
Oh
just
yeah, that's right. That's right. So it's so
I
hard.
sorry about that. Yeah, I
No,
know.
you're fine. I mean, since we're talking horror, I'll go with favorite horror. How about that?
Sure.
Since we're in that genre, I would say The Sixth Sense for me is my favorite horror and also one of my favorite movies in general. It's just so brilliant. It's not only scary, but I cry every time I watch it at the end scene. It gets me every single time. I think the performances are just beyond brilliant. And the writing, of course, M. Night Shyamalan just is a genius. And the way he weaves that story, and once you know the ending, and I know it's been out a long time, but I won't say it in case anybody hasn't seen it. When you see the ending, then you go watch it again, and you're like, oh my God, how did I not see it? It was all there. It's just so like fantastically. I would love to make a film. That would be a dream.
Do you remember, were you in the theater the first time you saw that Tony Collette acting sequence in the
Yes.
car? Oh, were you buckets of
Oh,
tears?
bawling, and I still cry every time I watch it. It's that scene is people sometimes give horror they shove it off as, oh, it's horror. It doesn't mean anything. It's not meaningful. But that last scene is a drama. It's at the end of the day, Sixth Sense is a drama with horror elements. I mean, it is about a boy who is feeling lost and alone, and a man who is trying to find a connection. That's what the story is underneath all of the horror. And that's why I think horror is so beautiful in that way, that we can explore those themes that speak more deeply than just the horror on top.
Well, you mentioned very quickly, you mentioned Catholic. I'm a Catholic, and I love that poster of the veil, and you mentioned mystery. So is the movie, without giving too much away, more of a mystery element kind of thing? What, so,
So it's definitely a mystery. It's a horror thriller mystery is how I like to explain it. If you get a chance to check it out, please let me know, because I think you definitely dig it. Yeah, it's a really beautiful story about redemption, and if you got a chance to right a wrong, what that would look like in your life. And yeah, I had a blast making it as well.
Becca, again, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on Traumatica.
Thank you so much, Greg. I appreciate your time, and hopefully see you again soon.
Yeah, definitely. With so many projects, of course, we're going to be
Yeah,
speaking
that'd be
again.
great. That'd be great.
You take care. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.